So we've been getting a lot of questions about this secret move that doorknob feel to shallow the golf club in the downswing. So stick around and watch this video to find out more about what we're talking about.
All right, Milo, so we've gotten a lot of questions on YouTube and Instagram about this sort of trail arm, trail wrist motion in the downswing in transition. And you've posted a few clips on like Instagram about just this move.
Yep.
And I think people are they want a little more detail as to how this is accomplished, right?
Okay. So what that move is it's called supination. So what supination is my forearm. I don't need to rotate my upper arm. My forearm can rotate like this. This is pronation, supination. What supination is, it's that rotation. People think it really is going to affect the club face. So if I take this and I actually supinate it like that, some people think, well, won't that open the face up?
Well, that was one of the questions too, is like they say when we've tried this move, we feel like the club face opened up.
Okay.
Right? But did I just do that correctly? That's the question.
That's the question. Did you supinate it correctly? Well, it would open the face up if you supinate it and take away the extension in your trail wrist.
Mm-hmm.
So if your trail wrist goes like this, now that face is going to go, now it's wide open. But what if I put the extension back into my trail wrist? Oh, now the face is good. But the head went from up here over to there.
Right.
But the face didn't open or close. Does that make sense?
Staying square to the arc.
It's staying fairly square to the arc. So we can have the club up here, open the door. So get that phone out. Pretend that's a door handle. So we can open the door, but the phone is still pointing back at the camera, right?
Right. It didn't start going.
If it did that, then the face would be wide open and we'd be really in trouble.
If you look at my wrist angle, there's no extension.
Yes.
So if I had extension,
if you have the extension, then you can make this go like this and not open the face.
So I think I've heard a term for this before as well, as sort of a twirl. Have you kind of heard that?
I've heard that.
Well? Yeah. So and one kind of cool sort of byproduct of this motion that a lot of people try to achieve without this motion is this trail elbow.
Uh-huh.
When I do this motion, you notice at the top here, my elbow is kind of pointed out behind me. When I supinate my forearm,
if you go far enough, it begins to externally rotate your shoulder some amount.
Right, the elbow's starting to point more back towards the golf ball or the target line.
Exactly.
So that gets the elbow in front. So a lot of people are trying to drive this elbow. What happens is, look what happens to the face.
That, yeah, makes the face wildly open.
Right.
And they wind up then doing other things like throwing all the angles out early and casting because they have to.
Yeah. Because
you just opened the face up, now you've got to flip.
So I guess what would be a good way for them outside of in the golf swing to feel this maybe at home? I think you've talked to me before about, you could put your hand on a wall and basically just kind of let it ride.
Make your fingers go down the wall.
Just let it ride down the wall. Yeah.
Yeah. And this is not a move that's exclusive to golf. It's actually, if you were throwing a ball, which we have one here, and you'll be able to see this, but if I was going to throw this ball sidearm, when I get up here, my hand is pointing kind of back toward the camera. Now where's my hand pointing?
The palm, well, the palm's out that way.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
So my fingers went from here, they didn't go this way.
Yeah.
They supinated.
And if anything, extension increased.
Extension will, in the throw, the extension's going to increase.
Right.
And there's going to be some supination. So it's a similar motion to what you would do in other games or throwing.
Yeah.
So it's not necessarily something that's only golf. But yeah, that idea of putting your hand on a wall and then just getting your fingers to ride down the wall, that's basically what we're after here.
Okay. And another thought that comes to mind is that, okay, so we've got this feel on the wall, and we're trying to make it happen in the golf swing, right? So, but is it manually done? Is it a hand and arm focus motion, or is there something else that we would like to kind of carry that motion?
Well, in reality, I want it to be more of a reaction to other dynamics that are going on. The
right.
pivot, where the center of mass of the club is at the top of the swing. But for some people, it's going to need to be manually done because they're going the other way when they think they're not doing anything.
Right.
And so that's the tough part about coaching is, what does it feel like for each individual? Well, I don't know. It's going to be different for everybody. We're not all the same. So for some of you, you might actually have to feel like you manually make this go like that to hit it for the first little while. But eventually, that feeling will become so natural, it'll just happen on its own, and you can blend it with more of a rotational motion with your body.
Yeah. I would think tension would play into that too, right? Because if I had any want to pull down or tighten my grip or sort of put more force and tension in my wrists and forearms, I'm not going to be able to achieve that, right?
No. And you're not going to let the weight of that golf club just naturally go where it wants to go. You're going to grab it and throw it somewhere else.
So could that be a sort of a good feeling, is to grip it almost as softly as I can, stand it up and sort of let it.
Yeah, that's a great little drill. So you could,
as long as I'm kind of keeping my wrist this way, not
letting it go that way and get the face open.
Right.
Because
I'm not serving dinner. I'm not, giving you your dinner here. If anything, I'm kind of keeping it.
It's kind of staying away, and the wrist is working this way.
Right.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, and I think that first move, if you can get it to happen because of your pivot and with some softness in this wrist, that's the more optimal way to do it versus just...
Yeah, that would be the optimal. But at first you might actually have to train yourself so you know what it even feels like to get it to go the right way.
Right, right. Because we see a lot of people at the top of the golf swing, they look like that.
Oh yeah, and then what do they do in transition? A lot of them go...
Well, then they pull down.
Well, they pull down, and they go this way.
Right.
See a lot of this.
They almost never get it in this position here.
Well, it's because a lot of them are afraid that face is going to get open and that ball's going to go straight to the right, because they all struggle with the right. So then they try harder and harder to get that thing out in front and square it up, and it gets worse.
So I guess you got to start really slowly with this and build it up. But that's kind of that secret move we were talking about with the doorknob, and it happens in almost all of the elite players, whether they know it or not.
Yep.
Because a lot of them do it without thinking about it.
Oh yeah.
They're doing it with their pivot and their rotation. This is naturally just happening.
Yep.
Right?